over 100 yards on the ground.
We said right from the beginning of this game, Kenny, that's what the Cowboys really needed to do. I mean, if they wanted to take this game, you know, Dave Campo knew that he had an advantage behind his offensive line.
Movement on the line. Warren takes the handoff. Cardinals have already committed 5 penalties today, 1 more than their season average. This is number 6.
Offside, 98 defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's Russell Davis, who again is in playing defensive tackle for the demoted Mark Smith. And rookie Mautozzi is playing for the injured Tony McCoy.
2nd and 3. Chris Warren. 3 carries for Warren in the game today, 3 first downs.
Now what's happening is that the Cardinals defenders, desperate to stop something, are overcommitting. So they're taking their gaps and they're racing upfield to try to make a big play. And then they're creating a gaping cutback hole in the defense. Watch this here. Look at, so Warren, all he has to do is get him to commit to one side. And if he can come back to the other, he's going to find a big hole almost every time.
With under 4 minutes remaining in the half, incredibly, Aikman without a pass completion, yet the Cowboys lead 21-0, and they're on the move. Emmitt Smith brought down by Johnny Rutledge after a 1-yard pickup. Well, coming up, Tim, the second half of our first NFL Sunday doubleheader as the 5-2 Washington Redskins take on the struggling 2-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. And those fans watching here in Dallas will get game 2 of our doubleheader, the Redskins and the Jaguars, following the Cowboys and Cardinals.
And Howie Long's piece in the pregame was great, and absolutely to the point that the Redskins being at the top of their division is because of their defense.
Aikman's first completion of the day. Chris Warren forced out of bounds by Pat Tillman, but he picks up yet another Cowboys first down, a gain of 11. So Warren has touched the football 4 times, 4 first downs.
You know, Warren's really an interesting situation for the Cowboys because, you know, Dave Campo said to us yesterday when we got him to first come here from Seattle as a free agent, he had other opportunities. He was made some promises that he was going to be an integral part of the game plan. And last year under Changeli, he really wasn't. Dave Campo wanted to honor that commitment, and he's done it so far this year. And Warren is not disappointed.
Emmitt Smith looks to cut it back inside, but loses 4 yards on the play. Corey Chavis, along with Pat Tillman, in on the tackle.
This is a good, you know, this is what the Cardinals defense needs. I mean, again, Dave McGinnis doing everything he can. You got Pat Tillman, your safety, blitzing into the line of scrimmage. You're trying to do anything. You're trying to outman them in the run game to come up with a couple big plays. Now they just have to string more than one in a row. They got to string a couple together and put the brakes on this Cowboys offense.
And this will take us to the 2-minute warning here in the first half in Dallas, with the Cowboys leading the Cardinals 21-0. The first 2 home games, 82-38. Losses to the Eagles and the 49ers, but they are in control here today, leading the Cardinals 21-0.
And rushing at an average of 6.7 yards per carry. Controlling the line of scrimmage on the offense as well as the defense right now.
2nd and 15 from the Cardinals' 18-yard line. Aikman to the outside. That's the 3rd drop of the game by Cowboys receivers. Rocket Ismail, the intended receiver. Aikman now 1 for 6 with 3 drops.
You're going to see Ismail. He just comes. He breaks to the outside. The ball is right where it's got to be. He just drops it. I mean, this has been an epidemic that the Cowboys receivers have been under all season.
Cowboys have kept the ball on the ground for the most part. 3rd and 15. Aikman dumps it off. Penalty marker on the play. Chris Warren out of bounds. Short of the first down marker, but a penalty flag. And it's holding against the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is an important series here for this Cardinals defense. Tommy Bennett is the guy who's down, but I mean, as I said, they need to string more than one big play together, and they've come up with a couple. And now this penalty.
Holding, 73 offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's against Larry Allen. But this penalty, now takes them, it makes the field goal range a little bit more suspect. If they come up with another big defensive play here on 3rd down.
The charge timeout, Arizona.
An injury with under 2 minutes and a half, so the Cardinals lose a timeout. It's their second. We'll be right back.
さあ、ということで今21点ということですが、長い攻撃が続いてますね。
Is something wrong, Rich? Ask the Cardinals.
From the 28-yard line, 3rd and 25. Aikman's pass is caught by the tight end Jackie Harris down to the 14. Gain of 14 yards, but well shy of the first down marker. Zach Walls made the tackle.
Timeout, Arizona. That's their 3rd and final team timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
And I think that's a smart timeout for the Cardinals, because whether this field goal is good or not, Vince Tobin knows his offense is at its best in the 2-minute drill.
So the field goal unit comes on for the Cowboys. They'll be right back.
Pull and shoot. Leaping left.
.32-yard field goal attempt. Tim Seder extending the Cowboys lead. It is now Dallas 24, Arizona nothing. Big first half for the Dallas Cowboys. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris with scores and highlights from around the NFL. And our Fox Sports ticker will bring you up to the second stats. All coming up on the Visa halftime report.
I wonder if is Keyshawn going to be back there also with those guys?
Keyshawn Johnson
saw him in the pregame.
On the pregame, Tampa Bay coming off their Thursday night loss to the Detroit Lions. Buccaneers have lost 4 in a row. But Keyshawn enjoying his time back. He was in the studio last year as well.
How about Terry springing the trick question on him about Aikman? He went for it, though, didn't he?
He did. But a big first half for the Dallas Cowboys.
Terry asked Keyshawn if Troy had a bad first half, if Keyshawn thought that they should make a quarterback switch. Keyshawn came out and said yes. That won't happen, even though Troy Aikman's numbers aren't good.
Marte Jenkins stays in the end zone. What would you have said if I told you before the game that Aikman would have 1 completion in the first half?
I would say if they're going to be ahead 24-0, they've dominated on the ground game. Cowboys offensive line owns this field right now.
Jake Plummer on the other side, 10 of 14, but did throw the 1 interception, which led to the Cowboys' first touchdown.
はい。まあそんなような、まあ本当にたくさん連れてきてもとにかくメンバーがはみ出してしまってね。
90 seconds to play, first half. Cardinals with no timeouts remaining, and they start from their own 20-yard line, trailing the Cowboys by 24 points. Plummer to Marte Jenkins. His first reception of the game, 7th of the year, picks up the first down, a gain of 19 yards.
Cowboys defense wants to force the ball into Jenkins' hands. They're going to take Sanders and Boston and try to put 2 defensive backs on them throughout this 2-minute drill.
Cardinals, no timeouts. 1:23 left. Second quarter. From the 40. Plummer's pass is intercepted at midfield by Troy Williams. His first interception this season, the second thrown today by Jake Plummer. Williams wondering if he was ruled down.
Holding on the field, the pass is intercepted, the runner's down by contact.
He was.
Pittman just runs right up the seam. And the timing between him and Plummer is not there. Pittman stopped. Plummer threw in anticipation that he was going to continue on. Also, that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, or Plummer's arm was tipped. And Williams makes a nice play on it. Oh, Leon Lett's a guy who tipped it.
First career interception for Troy Williams, who just returned last week. He had knee surgery during the offseason and then picked up a staph infection and could not play until last week's game.
And I think Williams is one of the reasons why the Cowboys were much better last week on their third down defense. They've had the worst third down defense in the league. But getting Williams back, I think, is going to beef them up when they play that nickel defense. Nickel being the 5th defensive back to come into the passing defense.
Which is an interception down by contact.
Now remember, the coaches cannot challenge in the final 2 minutes of the half, but the officials up in the replay.
After reviewing the play stands is called interception, first down Dallas.
So Troy Williams breathes a sigh of relief after his first career interception in 6 NFL seasons. And the Cowboys, again, with terrific field position.
And all 3 of their timeouts.
Yes. And 1:17 remaining in this first half. Aikman to the air on first down. Looking for James McKnight. He makes the catch. And he was pulled down on the 2-yard line. A 48-yard pass play from Aikman to McKnight.
And a wonderfully thrown football by Troy Aikman.
Timeout, Dallas.
McKnight has the speed. He outruns Tommy Knight, and Aikman dropped that ball in there beautifully. And that feels good for Troy Aikman.
His longest completion of the season.
And look at Eric Williams saying, "You're back. You're back, my man. You're back."
Well, Dave Campo told us yesterday the veterans have not lost any confidence in Troy Aikman, and they set the tone for the rest of this Dallas Cowboys team.
And I just think the way the players and the way Dave Campo have carried themselves throughout the struggles that Aikman has had since his return after his concussion for the Cowboys to stay with Aikman.
Chris Warren bottled up back at the 5-yard line by Zach Walls. A loss of 3. Second and goal coming up from the 5. Clock continues to run.
You have to appreciate
Dallas. That's the second charge timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Now the Cowboys call timeout with 38 seconds remaining. Second and goal from the 5-yard line for the Dallas Cowboys, who lead the Arizona Cardinals 24-0. Aikman taken down. First sack of the game for the Cardinals, and the first of the year for middle linebacker Ronald McKinnon.
McKinnon comes on the blitz right up the center, and Chris Warren has got to pick that up. Well, what he does, he overreaches it, You see the miscommunication there between Warren and Stepnowski. One guy has to take
Timeout,
one and the other has to
Dallas.
be picked up.
That's their third and final charge
By
timeout.
Warren.
30-second timeout.
You know, if the Cowboys offensive line has had a weakness this season, it really has been on the blitz pickup.
For the Cowboys back at the 12-yard line following the sack. Movement on the line, penalty flags. Aikman to the end zone, and he overthrows McKnight. Down to 10 seconds.
It's going to be on Mark Smith.
Offside, 93 defense. The 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
And that is the 7th Arizona penalty.
You know, Mark Smith for several years was the strongest interior, or the strongest defensive lineman for the Cardinals. And last year he had some major knee surgery and really has not been the same since he came back. He had a contract dispute. He signed a tender offer of about $1 million a year, and then on top of that held out at training camp. So he has really had a kind of spotted career.
Now 3rd and goal from the 7. Aikman looking end zone, and a marker. Tom Knight made contact with James McKnight. And that is the first pass interference penalty this season against the Cardinals.
1-yard line, first down.
They had not been called for pass interference over their first 6 games.
Well, if this was going to be a touchdown, it's not a bad play by Knight. You see he clearly did interfere and the ball was in the air, because the Cowboys now only have 6 seconds, no timeouts. So they've got one play to punch it in.
If they don't get in, they will not have time to send in the field goal unit. No timeouts.
Cowboys with a run offense out on the field. Now maybe they're going to send in the kicker.
Delay a game on.
Tim Seder hit from 32 earlier this quarter. This will be a 24-yard attempt. Micah Noor is the holder. Seder now 2 for 2. Officially a 23-yard field goal. And the Cowboys lead is now 27-0. So at the end of the first half, it's the Cowboys 27 and the Arizona Cardinals nothing. Big first half on the ground for the Cowboys. 108 yards rushing and 2 Arizona turnovers. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 7-0 halftime lead. Aikman 3 of 8, 72 yards. Cowboys with 108 yards on the ground. Marte Jenkins getting set along with Pat Tillman for the second half kickoff from Micah Noor. Jenkins from the 3-yard line. And across the 25 to the 27. A 24-yard return. Pepe Zellner made the special teams tackle. So the Cardinals go to work on their first possession in this second half. Only 25 rushing yards, 95 total yards for Arizona.
Well, I think the other thing that we don't have here for Arizona is they had 8 penalties and they've got 2 turnovers. So everything really has gone wrong for the Cardinals that could have gone wrong. And over here, the big number for the Cowboys is 108 yards on the ground and domination up front by their offensive line.
Jake Plummer in the first half, 11 of 16, but 2 interceptions, which both led to Cowboys points. David Boston makes the catch on first down, brought down by Ryan McNeil after a gain of 4 yards. Cardinals shut out in the first half. They punted 3 times. Plummer picked off twice. And the big 4th down play by the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was an important play there, led by Alonzo Spellman, who just took the tight end Terry Hardy and just pushed him right back into the backfield.
2nd and 6. Michael Pittman, who had a rough time in the first half, gained only 7 yards on his first 6 carries, picks up 1. So it will be 3rd and 5.
This is a really nice play by Greg Ellis, the defensive end for the Cowboys. He just came off his block, and it was textbook play. He gets up, watch him right here, watch him get up underneath L.J. Shelton. Look at him, he jacks him back, controls him, sheds him, and makes a tackle.
Third and 5. Cardinals send in 4 wide receivers. Plummer's pass caught by Pittman, but he's tackled from behind by Pepe Zellner. 2 yards shy of the first down marker, so the Cardinals will be forced to punt once again.
Kenny, I think for the Cardinals coming out of halftime, I think that they had to have a conversation among themselves in the locker room at halftime and just say, look, you know, we're getting swamped right now. It's 27-0. We've got to just settle down and try to restart this thing. Try to go back to our original game plan and see if we can dominate in the second half the way the Cowboys did in the first. I think it's going to be a very tough task.
Wane McGarity bottled up this time, a return of only 2 yards. Pat Tillman made the stop. 47-yard punt by Scott Player.
Back in Dallas, Arizona Cardinals literally dazed by this Dallas Cowboys team. 27-0 Dallas. Now, everything that could go wrong for the Cardinals has, between penalties and turnovers and a domination on the line of scrimmage by the Cowboys offensive line.
Another big hole for Emmitt Smith as he picks up here in the second half where he left off in the first by gaining 9 yards.
And I think, you know, you see a little bit of Larry Allen at work here with Mark Stepnowski. And Allen is able to, they can execute this combo block perfectly, where they start to block the same guy together, and then, you know, they'll start to block here, and then Allen slips off and picks up the linebacker.
They've both gone to the Pro Bowl 5 times. 2nd and 1. Smith has the first down and more. Out to the 36-yard line, a gain of 9 more yards. Tom Knight finally brought him down.
You know, really, Kenny, not to disparage anyone. I mean, Mao Tosi is a 5th-round pick. He's a rookie right here going against Larry Allen. But watch Allen. This is just physical domination. And Allen gets up under him. He's on him. He works him around. I mean, you know, Emmitt Smith runs right past Tosi because Tosi's just trying to keep his pads on.
Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, that's not an easy task for anyone.
Tosi's first professional start. Rookie out of Idaho. The inside handoff to the fullback, Robert Thomas. And he forces his way to the 45. So 3 consecutive runs of 9 yards for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and it starts up front. Watch Larry Allen on this play again. Again, he's going on Tosi here. And watch what he does. He's dominating. He's under him. He's into him. He's driving him back and then right down into the ground.
Second and 1 from the 45. Again, it's the fullback Thomas. And Robert Thomas, who scored his first professional touchdown last week against the Giants, picks up the first down. He was a linebacker in college at Henderson State and has made the transition, replacing your former teammate at Syracuse, Moose Johnston,
who is now our counterpart on another network.
Working with our former colleague, Kevin Harlan. The offensive leaders for the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith, 75 yards on the ground. Aikman to the air. It's Robert Thomas again. Down to the Arizona 44-yard line. The Cowboys offense operating at will here today.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And you can sense the hopelessness of this Cardinals defense. And I think it's compounded by the fact that every time their offense has had opportunities, they've squandered them. When they've gotten some kind of a drive going, it's ended in a turnover or a failure to convert on 4th down. So that affects the mentality of these defenders.
2nd and 3, Emmitt Smith. Another first down for the Cowboys, down to the Cardinals' 41-yard line.
Well, there's no question, Kenny, that this kind of performance and this kind of game is exactly what the Dallas Cowboys needed. And I talked to Dave Campo yesterday and Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner, and you know, Dave Campo just said, he said, look, we have to win this game. We have really hung the hopes of this season on this game, of revitalizing any chance of the playoffs.
Like clockwork, 10-yard pickup. Emmitt Smith down to the Cardinals' 31.
Dispirited defense. That's what Emmitt Smith is running into and running through. I mean, even the wide receivers are out there laying blocks on people. Well, I think both Cowboys wide receivers on that play, there's one there, and then the Rocket had another. I mean, the wide receivers are even getting in on the action.
Emmitt Smith, 87 yards on the ground on 19 carries. Ismail in motion. Emmitt down to the 27-yard line. Cowboys using the clock. 8 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. They lead 27-0 over the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams 2-4, and you got the feeling during the week that whichever team won this game would feel like they are back in the NFC East race, while the loser will drop to 2-5. Emmitt Smith hearing the cheers. 92 yards. Replaced by Chris Warren. Here's Warren on first down inside the 25, a gain of 3. And when Emmitt Smith carries the ball 20 or more times, the Cowboys usually win.
I think when the Cowboys are a playoff team and when they have won championships and have been a dominant team, it really did start with that run game. And I think it's a combination of Emmitt Smith and that offensive line. Big, they're strong, they're athletic, and mean too.
2nd and 6 off the play fake to Warren. Aikman looking end zone. Rocket Ismail, touchdown Cowboys. First touchdown catch of the season for the Rocket.
We talked about it earlier and how Rocket practiced the entire week this week, and Troy told us yesterday that he felt he had his connection, he had his timing down with Rocket, and he dropped that pass in there beautifully. He really did, and Rocket did a nice job of turning around, keeping concentration, and catching it over the shoulder of Tommy Knight.
Tim Seder for the point after. And the Cowboys lead is now 34-0, a season high 34 points for the Cowboys. Rocket Ismail reaching the end zone for the first time this season, extending the Cowboys lead. It is now 34-0, a 10-play, 82-yard drive. Marte Jenkins takes it out from 2 yards deep. And Jenkins is tackled as he crossed the 20 by Orantes Grant. 34-0 Cowboys.
Rocket Ismail's motion tells Troy Aikman that he's got man-to-man coverage, because what happens, instead of the secondary shifting, you're going to see Tommy Knight runs with Rocket. So Aikman knows he's got a one-on-one matchup, and Rocket just beats Knight with his speed. So a nice read by Troy Aikman and a nice route by Rocket.
Plummer from the 22 nearly intercepted. George Teague was right there. Plummer has been picked off twice today, once by Felipe Sparks and the other Charlie Williams.
Well, this is a situation now for the Cardinals. It's absolutely desperate, almost hopeless, and they just have to play that 2-minute offense, and that's what they're doing. They just have to push the ball downfield relentlessly.
2nd and 10. Plummer's pass is intercepted. There's number 3. It's Darren Woodson, who was Felipe Sparks' high school teammate in Phoenix. They also played in college together at Arizona State. So both Phoenix natives have interceptions against their hometown Cardinals. And for Darren Woodson, it's his first pick of the year.
Well, it's an outstanding read by Darren Woodson. He reads the route. He's got the coverage right here, and he makes the break on the ball again because he can. He can make this break aggressively because he knows he has help over the top. Beautiful, beautiful stretch out. I don't know if that was a catch. You know that? Watch this here. Watch this ball. He didn't catch it. They should have reviewed it. They didn't.
The Cardinals would have to challenge, and as soon as the Cowboys get the play off, it's a moot point. Chris Warren cutting to the outside, down to the 22, a gain of 3 yards. And Woodson handing the ball to a couple of Cowboys fans who wear his number. $34-0 lead for the Cowboys. 2nd and 7 from the Arizona 22. Cowboys have scored on their last 5 possessions. Warren, penalty markers on the play. Penalty number 9 committed by Arizona.
Offside, 94 defense, a 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Corey Sears, the guilty party, and for an NFL update, let's return to James Brown of the Fox Network Center. Thanks, JB. So a broken finger suffered by Kurt Warner in the game in Kansas City. Aikman's pass complete. Ismail inside the 10. Pat Tillman and Tom Knight combining on the stop. A gain of 8 yards.
Well, Kenny, as you said, the Cowboys on the last 5 possessions have scored, and they're running at will. And now they're beginning to pass at will as well.
A late flag on the last play, a false start against the Cowboys. So this forces Dallas back to the 22. Under 5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 92 yards on the ground for Emmitt Smith. He's out of the game right now. McKnight. Good 2nd effort after he was initially tripped up by Corey Chavis.
Troy Aikman sees McKnight isolated out there with just Chavis to get him. So it's a hitch route. Just turns, catches it, and it's just McKnight and Chavis. McKnight's able to pick up the 1st down. Chavis, though, does at least prevent him from scoring a touchdown. You got to look for some kind of bright spot, right?
First and goal, Cowboys from the 10. And a timeout called by Troy Aikman. Cowboys on the move in a rout over the Cards.
なんかですね、カンポヘッドコーチはもう気楽な感じですね。我々もなんか一種そういう気楽な感じで。
Kenny Albert, Tim Green in Dallas. Cowboys with a big lead. First and goal on the Cardinals' 10-yard line. Jackie Harris, the tight end, shifting. The handoff to Chris Warren, and he is in for his second touchdown of the day.
Larry Allen pulled around on this play here, and it looked like 10 pins. The bodies just started flying. Watch big number 73 pull around here on this power O. Look at that thing just open up, and Corey Chavis and a couple other Cardinals defenders are just flying on the ground in the end zone.
Tim Seder has had a busy day, 2 field goals, and this is 5th point after. 41-0 Cowboys. Two touchdowns for Chris Warren. Cowboys' highest scoring day since opening week last year when they beat the Redskins 41-35 in overtime. Marte Jenkins all the way out to the 37-yard line. A 42-yard return with 3:51 remaining, third quarter. Coming up tonight on Fox, Game 2 of the World Series. New York Mets, New York Yankees. Yankees lead the series following their 12-inning 4-3 victory last night. And Jose Vizcaíno, the former Met, the Yankee hero, bottom of the 12th inning, driving in Tino Martinez with the game-winning run. They will go at it again tonight in the Bronx.
I'm going to admit, I'm like Jimmy Kimmel in that I'm rooting for the Mets just because they're the underdog.
Thomas Jones on the first down carry. We send it back to another underdog. He's on that pregame, said he can't get too many words in, JB.
Thanks, JB. Boy, did Trent Green, it's like getting the keys to your dad's Ferrari, you know? I mean, that is some offense to be able to slide into the driver's seat, fire that baby up, and take control.
Finally, signed as a free agent, big contract last year from the Washington Redskins, and suffered the injury against the San Diego Chargers in preseason. Not many people in and out of football even heard of Kurt Warner until Trent Green suffered the injury last year.
Well, and I think the real telling thing is that Trent Green, all the while Kurt Warner was playing and became the Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, everyone kept saying Trent Green is even better.
Plummer taken down. Sacked for the second time today. It's Demetrius Underwood. His first sack in the NFL.
This is really good by Demetrius Underwood, because how many players have you seen get a grasp on Jake Plummer out here in this open space and then lose him? So Underwood really showing his great athleticism. He starts to jump up, then he gets one hand on, he gets another hand, and he just stays with him. He doesn't flop down or flop around. He stays with him, stays on his feet, and gets a sack.
Underwood's problems last year off the field well chronicled, and he comes through with his first career sack for the Cowboys. Wane McGarity, who brought one back earlier, this time is taken down at the 31-yard line by David Barrett. 8-yard return by McGarity.
Well, Kenny, Dallas offense has been potent today, but really, and we've talked about it earlier, really the best offense in the league ever is this group right here. Now, as you said, Green has replaced Warner, but You know, Howie was talking on the pregame show, and I totally agree with him. This is the guy here that is at the center of it all, because Falk can run at an all-pro level, and he can also play receiver at an all-pro level. So from an X's and O's standpoint, you can never effectively defend against that Rams offense.
And they're having a tough time today against the Chiefs, and they've also lost Kurt Warner. Emmitt Smith over the 100-yard mark for the second time this season. Only Barry Sanders and Walter Payton have more career 100-yard games. This is the 66th in the regular season for Emmitt.
And now this is just fun for this Cowboys offensive line and for Emmitt Smith, because they have the Cardinals defense right under their thumb, and now they're just squashing them.
It's his 10th 100-yard day against the Cardinals. He picked up 16 on that last play. First down from the 47. And a nice catch by James McKnight, despite the coverage by Aeneas Williams. A gain of 15 more yards on McKnight's third catch of the afternoon.
This is why they brought McKnight here. This is the kind of play that he has the speed and the athleticism and the concentration to make. And if he can do this consistently, the Cowboys are going to find that they are in the playoff hunt. Watch McKnight here. Watch him work outside. He's being covered by one of the best in the game. And the hand gets in there, but he concentrates. You see his head, his eyes follow the ball right into his hands, and he makes the reception.
Jason Tucker now in at wide receiver for the Cowboys, along with Rocket Ismail. And the inside handoff to the fullback, Robert Thomas, his third carry of the game, as time winds down in this third quarter. All Cowboys. They led 14-0 after one, 27-0 at the half.
I think this sign here really captures the theme of the Cowboys and Dave Campo all week.
Last time the home fans watched the Cowboys, they were embarrassed by Terrell Owens and the San Francisco 49ers. But a reversal here today as the Cowboys lead the Cardinals after 3 quarters by the score of 41-0. Folks, NFL Sunday will continue after a word. Cowboys lead 41-0. Their 2 previous wins in Washington on Monday night, in Carolina in overtime, but this their best overall effort.
Well, and I think Dave Campo said this week, you know, Minnesota last week, they started out 2-4, they went to the playoffs. And then the next thing he said was, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, they went 3-4, ended up 11-5, and played all the way into the final rounds of the playoffs. So I think that's where the Cowboys' mindset is right now. They had to win today's game to really believe in their own internal propaganda, because internally they were saying, okay, you know, Troy had a bad game, but he'll come back, he'll get back to himself. And our offensive line and our run game hasn't been what it was, but we're getting better. And I think that happened today. And then defensively, they said, well, we're giving up a lot of points, but we're getting better. We're getting some guys healthy. And I think that today proved that out as well. To keep the whole thing in perspective, Kenny, you do have to realize that this Cardinals team is injury depleted, and then their effort today was not one of their best. Even if they were healthy, you know, there just been a rash of penalties, 9 of them for 51 yards, 3 turnovers, just problem after problem for Vince Tobin's team in this game.
Penalty number 10 on the Cardinals. 10 penalties, 3 turnovers, a punt return for a touchdown, 4 new defensive starters, and it all adds up to a 41-point deficit.
Dave McGinnis, who is really one of the fine people and fine defensive coordinators in this league, destined to be a head coach in the NFL.
Was nearly the head coach in Chicago last year. 3rd and 4, Aikman to the Rocket. First down, Cowboys. Ismail down to the Arizona 10, a gain of 22.
Look at the smile. You have to be happy for Troy Aikman. I mean, Aikman is a guy who really embodies all the things that are good about the NFL. A guy who was just a class act and had a really rough game last week, and now you can see that it's starting to come back for him. He really threads this pass right through. You're going to see Tillman come in there right at the last second, and he just delivers it perfectly to the Rocket, as he did to with his touchdown pass and also his long pass to James McKnight earlier in the game.
Emmitt Smith on 1st and goal down to the Arizona 5. A penalty flag on the field.
Kenny, I really like the way Emmitt Smith this week tried to compare Troy Aikman's situation to his back in 1997. He said, hey, you know, everyone said I was done. And that was back in 97.
Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Bernie Kukar's microphone not working, but it is another Cardinals penalty, their 11th. Setting up 1st and goal on the 3. Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt forced back. Good job by the Cardinals defense, led by the middle linebacker, Ronald McKinnon.
And a nice penetration by Mark Smith, their defensive tackle.
Smith, who was very outspoken about his benching this week, he said on Thursday, I'm still the best tackle on the roster.
Well, he doesn't lack for confidence. It really kind of reminds me of the way a cornerback has to be. You know, you just have to be indefatigable in your confidence.
94.
And then, you know, you have to admire that. I mean, Smith coming back from an injury, and sometimes when you're demoted and you're benched, you know, it spurs you on to play your very best.
2nd and goal, Emmitt bouncing down to the 2. Corey Sears made the tackle. 2 minutes in, 4th quarter. Kenny Albert, Tim Green from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Cowboys looking for their first home victory. And they lead 41-0. 3rd and goal upcoming from the 2-yard line. Chris Warren with 2 rushing touchdowns. Emmitt Smith has one. Rocket Ismail, a touchdown catch. And Wane McGarity, a punt return into the end zone. Aikman to Robert Thomas. He reaches across for the touchdown. Pat Tillman thought he stopped Thomas, but then Thomas reached across. His 2nd NFL touchdown, his 2nd in as many weeks.
That was a beautiful effort by Robert Thomas. I mean, he was down and he just snuck that ball across the plane.
His touchdown last week, Tim, was his first since high school.
Well, watch him. He just breaks to the outside here, and Aikman dumps it in his hands. And look at this. Tillman, by all rights, has got him down. All he has to do is get that ball across the plane, and he did.
And even though he played linebacker in college, in NFL Europe, and in training camp last year for the Cowboys, he had the instincts on offense to reach across. And it's now 48-0. Cowboys in a rout. Back in Dallas. Troy Aikman's 2nd touchdown pass. Robert Thomas, the recipient. Randall Cunningham warming up on the Cowboys sidelines with Dallas leading 48-0 over Arizona. Marte Jenkins. Oh, and Garrett Woodson makes the stop on special teams. A 22-yard return by Jenkins. We'll return to Texas Stadium after these messages. The wait is finally over, not only for Trent.
World Series game last night.
One of many stars out at Yankee Stadium. Plummer's pass on 1st down, caught by Michael Pittman. Has the 1st down. Well, sports fans of the Valley of the Sun anticipating the November 7th vote, Proposition 302, for a multi-purpose dome stadium, which would be publicly owned, funded by the Cardinals, the Fiesta Bowl, and through tourist taxes on hotels and rental cars, as well as a surcharge to stadium users. And we are told it's split right down the middle just weeks before Election Day.
Well, I think the important thing about that is for everyone out in Arizona to understand is that unless you're using the facility, for, you're coming there to stay for with a hotel or a rental car or the organizations that use it, you don't have to pay a dime. So it really doesn't make sense not to give yourself a world-class facility at the cost of the people who are going to use it.
And Tim, right now for an NFL update, let's send it west to James Brown at the Fox Network Center.
JB, I'm starting to doubt Cary Bradshaw's poetry, but no, I better not say that too loud or I'll lose my job.
Penalty marker as Plummer goes down. Was it Terry's poetry or Torrey's?
No, Terry had a poem in the pregame show about the Rams offense and how good they were.
But did Terry write it or did Torrey?
Well, it was
think
good.
It was Terry?
I think so. Maybe they co-authored it.
Well, the Rams have not lost since the last game of the regular season last year in Philadelphia. They marched through the playoffs, and they started this season 6-0. Rams and the Vikings, the only undefeated teams in the NFL. And at last check, the Vikings were losing to the Buffalo Bills, 10-6. Plummer's pass is caught for a first down by David Boston. Boston still on his feet. Down to the 5-yard line. A 39-yard pickup from Plummer to Boston.
Well, you have to credit Jake Plummer's offensive line because with the game essentially over, they're still doing a nice job. They give him some protection, and he's able to move around back there and until Boston comes open, and then he delivers this pass. And then again, you see why the Cardinals are so excited about what David Boston brings to their team.
Thomas Jones. Jones inside the 2.
Believe me, right now, even though the Cardinals team knows that they've lost this football game, they want to score because it's bad enough to lose and to lose by this kind of a margin, but to be shut out is really a huge embarrassment. If you could be more embarrassed.
And remember, the Cardinals scored a season-high 32 in their first meeting with the Cowboys. Second and goal. From the 3-yard line. Off the fake pitch, Plummer in trouble. Throws to the end zone. And it's off the fingertips of the tight end, Chris Gedney.
Wait, Gedney, one of my former teammates in Syracuse and Liverpool High School graduate. Watch him come off here, and he does a nice job to get himself open. He comes back to the inside, but Plummer is just not able to put the ball down enough. And the reason why was because Alonzo Spellman did an outstanding job of staying home on the bootleg.
Third and goal from the 3. Quick drop. Plummer, corner of the end zone. Boston could not hold on. Terrific coverage by Ryan McNeil.
Ryan McNeil has really had a fine season so far this year for the Cowboys. The problems that they've had in their passing game and their passing defense, look at that concentration. That was really, really nice. Has been on the other side. They started out with Kareem Larimore, the rookie, and he struggled. Felipe Sparks came back and has gotten better and better, but McNeil has been pretty constant, and you could see on that play just why.
Cardinals go for it on 4th down. 4th and goal. Plummer is stopped short. Do you think the Cowboys did not want him to?
Oh, they were hungry. They were hungry for the shutout.
4 Cowboys in pursuit, and they stopped Jake Plummer.
Excellent coverage by the Cowboys defense, and then outstanding reaction to come back and tackle Plummer. Look at this coverage. There's George Teague, and then he and Felipe Sparks pass off receivers. Watch Teague and Sparks. Watch these Cowboys defenders close in. There's Hennings and Wortham and Hambrick, Woodson.
So the Cowboys defense twice have stopped the Cardinals, and now Randall Cunningham with the Cowboys on top 48-0. Crowd chanting for Randall in their last home game. But a different story here today. They cheered Troy Aikman and the Cowboys during the opening introductions.
Testing, testing, testing.
Yes, it works, Bernie. 48-0 Cowboys with the lead, and Troy Aikman's day is over. 9 of 15, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Randall Cunningham, who started 2 games earlier this year, including the game in Tempe, comes in at quarterback.
And I think it's important too, Kenny, to remember that early on in this game, Aikman at one point he was 0 for 3, he was 1 for 5, but 3 of those were just drops by his receivers. So once they got that straightened out, things have been very good for Troy Aikman. So those are good numbers, but even more importantly is the fact that the Cowboys came into this game, they ran the ball in a dominant fashion. They're about to go over 200 yards on the ground. And that kind of took the pressure off the Cowboys receivers and Troy Aikman, and they were able to methodically pick up a couple touchdowns of their own.
You think this week may be a little different than the last couple for Troy Aikman?
No, it's a huge relief. Look, for everything Troy Aikman has had in his life and has in his life, you know, he admitted himself this was a difficult week and a difficult situation for him to be in.
Fans, media have talked about possible retirement, all the concussions, the lack of success he had the last couple of weeks, 5 interceptions last week, but he's turned things around here today. And the stories this week will concern what happened on the field today and not necessarily what something should have happened off the field.
Right. It's still not over, though, Kenny. I mean, again, you have to go back to the inadequacies of this Cardinals defense to realize that, you know, the Cowboys offense should have had nothing but this kind of success against a team that is so depleted by injuries.
And a tough task for the Cowboys next week. The Jacksonville Jaguars will visit, and although they are struggling at 2-5, they play Washington on Fox later today. Certainly a formidable opponent.
Well, I think 3 of their next 4 games are against formidable defenses. You got Jacksonville's defense, and then you've got Philadelphia's defense at Philly, and then they've got Cincinnati, and they're not very strong on defense. And then they got to come back and play at Baltimore, and the Ravens defense is very strong.
3rd and 8. Cowboys from deep in their own territory, and Chris Warren is stopped at the 8-yard line, so the Cowboys will punt it away. Pat Tillman made the tackle. Cowboys will up their record to 3-4, and Tim mentioned the next 4 opponents: Jacksonville at Philadelphia, Cincinnati at Baltimore, and then Minnesota. So the schedule is not easy in any sense. It's never easy in the NFL, but 4 tough opponents out of the next 5. While the Cardinals return home, they will host the New Orleans Saints next week. Saints with a record of 3-3. Playing in Atlanta this afternoon. Matt Cody is brought down at the 46 after a 5-yard return.
みんなすごい投手ですね。
もう嬉しいんでしょうね。
嬉しいんですね。
これだけの対象で。
しかも今シーズンまだ。
Cowboys on their way to their 3rd victory in 7 games. Cardinals will drop to 2-5. 48-0 lead. Great job by our entire crew here in Dallas. Producer Rich Russo, Director Peter Bleckner, Associate Director Bob Grossman, Broadcast Associate Robert Slosby. Our technical producer is Kevin McRoby. The studio produced by Scott Agnerson, directed by Bob Levy. The Associate Director Jennifer Love. The Senior Producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the Executive Producers are Ed Gorin and David Hill. On first down from the 46, Plummer takes off, has room. Plummer is the Cardinals' leading rusher in today's game as he gains 21. He also led Arizona in rushing last week.
Well, it's outstanding coverage downfield, and pretty nice job of the Cardinals' offensive line to protect Jake, and that was kind of a different slide.
Plummer in trouble. He escapes. He throws. And it's Chris Gedney, your guy, Syracuse, Liverpool High School, and Gedney makes the catch down at the 1-yard line.
I think Gedney is not only my guy, but a lot of people's guy because of the way that he came back. He suffered from Crohn's disease and underwent major surgery, and here he is. Here he's just going to break down on this post route. Jake avoids the rush, and he finds Gedney. And he was out of football for a year. Came back and has come back strong. He's got sure hands, and he's a decent blocker. Great guy.
Pittman over the top. Penalty flags. What else would you expect when the Cardinals finally reach the end zone? More flags.
And we'll make it 12 if it is, in fact, on the Cardinals.
No penalty, says Bernie Kukar, so it is a touchdown. Second of the year for Pittman. I still consider Gedney your guy.
Well, yeah, he's a great guy. Well, we went to the same high school. We went to the same college.
What is it about tight ends coming out of Syracuse? We saw Roland Williams from the Rams score a touchdown earlier.
I don't know. I mean, I was a defensive lineman, so.
Do you ever consider shifting to the other side?
No, I don't have that kind of athleticism. Look at Pittman. Speaking of athleticism, pretty nice leap.
Last time we saw Cary Blanchard, excuse me, Tim, was when he slipped on the opening kickoff. Now out for the point after.
Let it go, let it go.
So the Cowboys lead has been cut to 48-7.
のことが非常に素早くポンポンポンとできる人ですからね。自分の走りも加えてね。
Our game summary here in Dallas, 348 total yards for the Cowboys, including 201 on the ground.
You know, Kenny, we've talked a lot about the Cowboys offense, but you have to appreciate this effort here by the Cowboys defense. They have limited an Arizona offense that really has been pretty good this year. Arizona came into this game with the 15th ranked offense, 9th in passing yards. So you have to certainly agree with Dave Campo, the head coach, who said, you know, our defense is really improving.
Onside kick is recovered by Tillman. After it deflected off the Cowboys' Dexter Coakley. Kwame Lassiter fell on it. It hit off Coakley, so the Cardinals retain possession.
Yeah, this is how not to try to recover an onside kick. Watch, Coakley runs right into the ball. And instead of fielding it, it just bounces right back out.
So the Cardinals back on offense, trailing 48-7. From their own 34-yard line. Dexter Coakley wishes he had that one back.
The nice thing about being up 48-7 is you can just kind of laugh about it, make a joke of it, because it doesn't really matter.
Plummer off the pump fake, airing it out, and Matt Cody was out of bounds.
Cody did a nice job of just catching it, but I think the placement was a little bit too far outside. Watch it here. Jake Plummer drops it in, and it's the right distance From
That's
that,
pretty close.
From that it looked complete, but we've got an isolation shot. And I think you'll see here that there's the catch. Boy, I don't know. You're right. It is kind of close. Yeah, I think they're going to challenge it.
Timeout, Arizona.
Cardinals call
That's their
timeout.
first charge timeout.
And they may
30-second
decide.
timeout.
They may decide to challenge. Vince Tobin perhaps asking his assistants what it looked like on the replay.
またアリゾナはテキサススタジアムで11年連続勝てないと
そういうことになります。
いうことになりますよね。
Arizona has challenged the ruling of the field of an incompleted pass.
Well, the Cardinals will check.
After reviewing the play, the ruling stands. His foot did not get in, both feet did not get in bounds, so it's an incompleted pass. A second charge timeout to Arizona.
So the Cardinals lose 2 timeouts. They call timeout to decide whether to challenge, and then they lose a second timeout because the ruling was not overturned.
As you said earlier in the game, Kenny, it has to be indisputable visual evidence to overturn the call made on the field.
So 2nd and 10 from the 34. The delay to Thomas Jones. His best effort of the day. Out to midfield, a gain of 16 for the 7th overall selection of the first round. He broke all of Tiki Barber's rushing records at Virginia. So the Cardinals move the chains. 1st and 10 from midfield with under 5 minutes to play. Trailing Dallas 48-7. Plummer dumps it off to Jones. Stopped about 2 yards shy of the first down marker by Darren Woodson.
You know, one of the best things now for the Cowboys defensive linemen is that they know essentially they can just rush the passer. I mean, they can line up and they don't have to worry about playing the run. As you look at Brandon Noble, the nose guard there, and this is when you're really likely to pad your sack total in situations like this.
Plummer's pass complete. Matt Cody. Cody picks up the first down. Brandon Noble made the stop.
Cowboys only rushing 3 men. Again, the Cardinals doing a nice job of protecting Jake Plummer. Plummer sacked on the season this year only 6 times. Including and then one more today, which makes it 7.
Thomas Jones, another first down for the Cardinals. Cowboys with their 48 points. Most points in a game for the Cowboys since Super Bowl 27, when they scored 52 against the Buffalo Bills in Pasadena. And it's the most points scored by the Cowboys in a regular season game since 1980.
And everything went right for the Cowboys right from the start. Chad Hennings tipped the ball, they had an interception. Leon Lett tipped the ball, they had an interception. McGarity ran back a punt for a touchdown.
11 Cardinals penalties. Plummer to the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Sanders. And the Cowboys will win for the 11th straight time in the regular season here at home over the Cardinals. Arizona did win that playoff game 2 years ago, and Plummer told us yesterday one of his biggest memories from that playoff win here in Dallas, how quiet it was in Texas Stadium in the second half.
It's quiet here now, too.
But for different reasons.
Yes, exactly.
And it will be a quiet plane trip home for the Cardinals. Michael Pittman. Pittman adding to his totals. Thanks to Eric Merlis and Barry Hockhauser in the booth crunching the numbers, along with Mark Cole and Eric Norton down in the truck. A lot of numbers here today, especially for the Cowboys offense. And there's McGarity, who returned the punt for a touchdown earlier, his second against the Cardinals this year.
There's Larry Allen. Happy, fun. And I think you can talk about all the Cardinals' mistakes and penalties and turnovers, but really, when you get right down to it, the Cowboys controlled the line of scrimmage.
Solid effort on both sides. As Pittman is chased down by Charlie Williams, who
We'll see that game under the new NFL television rules, because today's Cowboys game was a sellout.
The 83rd in a row here at Texas Stadium. Thomas Jones works his way down to the 2-yard line as we hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining here in Dallas. All Cowboys. Coming up next on both 5 and 2. Thomas Jones on the 3rd down handoff from Plummer. 3rd and 2 from the 3. And Jones was stopped.
Redskins being led by their defense, helped along by the former Dallas Cowboy Deion Sanders.
Well, the Aikman fans have hung in.
And I think that's great, and I really appreciated how I'm sure that Troy Aikman appreciated it more than me, but how the Dallas fans welcomed him when the introductions took place at the beginning of the game with just resounding cheers for Troy Aikman.
4th and 2. Cowboys have stopped the Cardinals twice. Jones fumbled. Cowboys say they have it.
Doesn't really matter who's got it, I guess, unless you've got an incentive clause.
Ball on the bottom of the pile.
Aaron Woodson wants it.
Well, the chains are coming out, so the Cardinals recovered, and the question is, did Jones pick up enough for the 1st down? It was 4th and 2.
I thought he was short anyway, but he may have.
Nope. So the Cardinals will lose it on downs. Cowboys 3 for 3. 4th down defense today.
And again, that comes down, Kenny, to controlling the line of scrimmage.
The loss to the Eagles and the loss to the 49ers. But here today, they picked off Jake Plummer 3 times. The offense took care of things on their end. Emmitt Smith 112 yards. Troy Aikman 2 touchdown passes. Randall Cunningham takes a knee as the Cowboys and the Cardinals split the season series. Both teams winning in their home stadium. So the Cowboys up their record to 3 and 4 under 1st-year head coach Dave Campo. His first home victory as Cowboys head coach. And the Cardinals will drop to 0 and 3 on the road, 2 and 5 overall. And this will be the last play. Some pushing and shoving on the field. Troy Aikman now 17 and 4 lifetime against the Cardinals. A 48-7 rout here this afternoon. Aikman 154 yards in the air. The Cowboys rushed for 200 yards. A victorious afternoon for Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys, as the Cardinals lose for the 11th consecutive time in the regular season here in Dallas. 48-7 the final. We'll be back to wrap things up from Texas Stadium after these messages.
When it comes to tradition, LSU is second to none, and here's one of their best. The Tiger Walk from Broussard Hall down Victory Hill and into Tiger Stadium for a big one in the SEC West. LSU season has both tried the patience and teased the imagination of their Bayou faithful.
Pass is broken up and LSU wins. LSU has beaten Tennessee in overtime.
Tonight, 90,000 have filled this stadium with high hopes for an upset as the Tigers prepare to defend Death Valley. Yet again, Mississippi State ranks among the SEC's elite. A biting defense, a lot of bark. The Bulldog statement comes across loud and clear. Tonight they'll talk some more and try and back it up again with full knowledge that every win is one step closer to being called conference champion.
We're gonna take it out. We're gonna take it out. Ain't no doubt.
Well, easier said than done. And Tiger Stadium, newly expanded, it holds 91,000 plus. A big one tonight. Number 14, Mississippi State, ready to take on the 4-3 LSU Tigers. And on the line tonight, nothing short of first place in the SEC West, with Alabama's loss earlier today to Tennessee, throwing it wide open. Should LSU win, they join that tie. And in fact, if they win out, they are, for the first time ever, the SEC West champions. Hard to believe, isn't it? Jackie Sherrill, his 10th year as the head coach of Mississippi State. And over the last 3, they are the best in the West. 10 wins last year, maybe even better this year. Somehow they still can't crack the top 10. Nick Saban, his first LSU team, already has proven good enough to beat Tennessee and shut out Kentucky, but inconsistent enough to lose at home to UAB. Which LSU team shows up tonight? Welcome to Baton Rouge. Dave Barnett, Bill Curry, and Mike Golick. Nick Saban, every week wondering, is this going to be the season that will be the Dow Jones year? From start to finish, up one week, down the next week. If there's one player, Bill, that personifies that trend that they hope to snap tonight, has to be quarterback Josh Booty.
Oh, indeed. Josh Booty has struggled mightily with interceptions. 29 in just his first 2 years. That's 5.8% of his total passes. Number 1 in the nation in that stat. That's a stat in which you do not wish to be number 1 in the nation. But there is progress. A week ago, 15 out of 33 for 3 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 interceptions. But that was then. This is now. That was Kentucky on defense, and Mike Golick, this is not Kentucky on defense
No,
tonight.
it is not. This Mississippi State defense is a dominating defense. Number 1 in the land, giving up just 24 yards against the run per game. All right, I got my stat out of the way. Watch these guys. They are a lot of fun. They love disguising their defenses. You'll see the free safety up on the line. You'll see defensive linemen covering the receivers. Don't worry, Mississippi State fans, they won't cover them during the play as well. These guys will run around. They'll slap each other on the back. They'll yell. They'll scream. They take after their defensive coordinator, Joe Lee Dunn, is a very charismatic coordinator. They're a very charismatic defense, Dave, but the bottom line is they're a great defense.
Who is more intimidating, the Mississippi State defense or Mike the Fifth? You decide. Kickoff coming up. Few places like it for nighttime football. Tiger Stadium, near capacity tonight. Mississippi State ready to take on LSU in a battle with first place in the SEC West on the line. And it is 75 degrees, not that humid for these parts. Partly cloudy day, not that much of a wind, less than 4 miles per hour. And let's send it down to the field and welcome Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Dave. Well, Mississippi State's defense is getting a lot of attention, but the offense wants some too. They came into this season with one goal, and that was to reinvigorate the running game. Jackie Sherrill reminded them that it was just 2 years ago, 1998. They were 3rd in the SEC with rushing at about 172 yards a game. Now, last year, those numbers dipped way down, but this season, behind a very strong offensive line, the numbers have improved, and they are 2nd in the conference. Credit also goes to DeCenzo Miller. He's coming off 2 consecutive games of 100-plus yards rushing, but he's also coming off back-to-back nights in the hospital this week with intestinal pain. Now, we met with him last night, and he said he feels about 85% healthy. But, Dave, how about this? 2 nights in the hospital, total rest, got completely rehydrated. He actually gained 2 pounds. His legs tonight may be fresher than they've been all season long. Back up to you.
That was the surprise that he mentioned. Not only is he not feeling weak, if anything, maybe a little fresh legs and added power, even despite the pains of earlier in the week, may have him on course for as big a night as he has enjoyed his last 2 times out. LSU has won the toss. They have elected to defer. And set for the opening kick is John Corbello, sophomore from Lafayette. He'll kick it deep to the Mississippi State tandem of Dante Walker. We'll see quite a bit probably at the tailback, backing up Miller, and Pete Prather, one of the dog safeties for Mississippi State. Until last year, a 1-point winning start filled for State. 7 straight LSU victories in this series. Walker bringing this one out from 5 yards deep. And met at the 17. So from that point, Wayne Madkin, the junior from Huntsville, Alabama, will go to work. He is packed on 20 pounds after a strenuous off-season lifting program. 54% completions, 3 touchdowns. Miller off 2 tremendous games back-to-back. Williamson is the fullback. Grindle, Huntington, the wideouts, and Donald Lee, the 240-pound tight end from Phoebe, Mississippi. And they personify balance. They average 167 yards on the ground, 169 yards through the air. They are all about power, not about fooling you. But from the eye, where they normally run it, they throw it. And this pass, intended for the fullback, Williamson, is incomplete. The enormous front line, including the pork chop, Floyd Womack, Lee, Thayer, Watson, and Fairchild. 323 pounds per man up front for the Tigers. Kipps, Barnes, Green, their cousins.
Yep, and a big key on defense up front. Muskingum Barnes, number 91, an undersized DT, but tough as nails.
Coaches call him Ty. I think we should too.
Yep, it'll be time for the rest of the evening.
Larry Huntington in motion, and Madkin again on play action. Into the air, it is caught by Grindle. Troy Grindle has a touchdown. 82 yards on the second play from scrimmage. Didn't take Jackie Sherrill long to go to work on the true freshman. Starting at right corner, Aaron DeMond burned on the second snap of the night. So for a team not noted for the deep passing game, a big first blow for Mississippi State. And for the extra point, Scott Westerfield, senior out of Brandon, Mississippi. Rocky Good is the referee. Good with the ball set. Miller is the holder. Michael Bender with the snap. 7-0 Bulldogs. 25 seconds into it.
A very difficult way to start your career as a starting corner in the Southeastern Conference. This is a simple play action. Nice job of faking. It's nothing but a fly pattern. Grindle runs right by Damone. The youngster makes the mistake of going up, thinking he can get the ball. Misjudged it. It cost him 6 points. You had to know they would go after him early.
True freshman, gotta fear that, and the worst nightmare realized, and the happiest moment maybe in the first quarter all year for Wayne Madkin.
He's a guy he thought Damon, who thought he could make the play. As Bill, as you said, freshman mistake. He thought he was there in coverage, thought he could time his jump. He timed it wrong, went right over the arm. Mississippi State, how about them? The big old line. They come out 2 passes right out of the gate, going deep, hitting it early.
That's an offense that you know feels a little bit overshadowed, maybe a lot overshadowed by their defense. They get so much more attention, and deservedly so.
Yeah, what we sensed from the players last night is they're really anxious to move up and compete the way the defense does, and that's a heck of a way to start. And I think really the one thing LSU could not afford in this game was to let Mississippi State jump out with big plays. And I was thinking that if it were to happen, it would happen from the defense.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's where Mississippi State usually hits, is from the defense creating the big plays for their offense. But as we've been talking about, starting from Michelle in the open, the offense wants a little